Hey guys, Tech with Ty here with another video. Today we're going to be going over how to build a scripting bot with Python, PyCharm, and Anaconda so we can automatically buy it well set up after items online, specifically in this case the Telfar bag. They just recently had a big drop of handbags. Everybody wanted their hands on them, so I figured this would be a good video to make. Let's get to it.
Go get that bag. It's groceries outside. Go get that bag. Is that DoorDash? Go get that bag. Get up off your ass. Go get that bag. Go get.
Okay, so boom. We copied and pasted this over. Let's change this to the view cart. Boom. Basically wait 5 minutes, 5 seconds. Change this to view cart. Let's actually add this to a new block so we can run it separately and not run everything all over again. Okay, let's run that. See what the error is. View cart is not defined. Okay, I missed the E. Let's try it again. Okay, now we're at the cart. Alright. So now we should probably check out. So let's do the same thing here. Inspect element. Do it again. Button type, class name. Let's see if it has uh, ID. It does not. I don't think so. Let's see if this one has an ID. Class name. So we're going to go here, copy. Let's see, selector. Let's see what selector is. That is too long. I'm just going to use the class name for this one. So let's go back to the documentation. Class name, class name. All right. Use that. Okay. Check out equals. Don't know why I put those. Let's do WD instead of driver. And let's get this class name. Let's do cart button, checkout button. That seems very specific. Boom. Let's do this, copy this. Check out. Everything looks good. Let's run it. Check out. Boom. Okay. Now we're going to have to go through all of this and input our information. And of course, for this, we're going to be using dummy information. I think I'll start going over that in the next video. So then, thank you for watching Tech with Ty, and you have a great day. Alright guys, so I figured out what was going on and why it wasn't working. I was getting an error that buy wasn't recognized. But as you can see, I was able to add it to my cart so far. Let me see if I have the Stack Overflow. But basically, I had to import buy in order to use this. And I added an implicit weight too. Pretty sure that helped. Let's change that to about 5 instead of 10. Okay. All right, now that we have it in our cart, let's go ahead and view our cart. Let's inspect the element and see if it's the same one. If it's the same one, we just do it twice. Nope, the ID is view cart button. Okay. Just going to copy this, paste it, change this to view cart. Okay, so boom. We copied and pasted this over. Let's change this to the view cart. Boom. Basically wait 5 minutes, 5 seconds. Change this to view cart. It's actually add this to a new block so we can run it separately and not run everything all over again. Okay, let's run that. See what the error is. View cart is not defined. Okay, I missed the E. Let's try it again. Okay, now we're at the cart. All right. So now we should probably check out. So let's do the same thing here. Inspect element. Do it again. Button type, class name. Let's see if it has ID. It does not. I don't think so. Let's see if this one has an ID. Class name. So we're going to go here, copy, let's see, selector. Let's see what selector is. That is too long. I'm just going to use the class name for this one. So let's go back to the documentation. Class name, class name. All right. Use that. Okay. Check out equals. Don't know why I put those. Let's do WD instead of driver. And let's get this class name. Let's do cart button, checkout button. That seems very specific. Boom. Let's do this, copy this, check out. Everything looks good. Let's run it. Check out. Boom. Okay. Now we're going to have to go through all of this and input our information. And of course, for this, we're going to be using dummy information. I think I'll start going over that in the next video. So then, thank you for watching Tech with Ty, and you have a great day. We're going to be actually filling out forms and putting text into all these fields. So as you can see here, I already created a variable for this form by ID. I'm going to leave that as US. Let's get the IDs for all these two. Do this really quickly. This should be last name form. Company optional, not going to put that. Let's do ID. Department. I'm making these variables as non-discrete as possible, so we can know which ones they are and what they do. We choose the city. Province or state. The zip code and the phone number. Looking for the ID for this one. Here it is. Okay, your phone number. So now that we have all these variables declared, let's go ahead and look at the documentation. Okay, so let's actually use this instead of using that. Let's also make a function that gets the ID. Let's name this ID param. Pass in parameters here, so I'm gonna have to rewrite this a bunch of times. Okay, so this is our function. We're passing in parameters, the parameter called ID param. That should just be a quick way that we can find elements without having to rewrite this a bunch of times. So let's see if this works. Let's do get by ID underscore param. That should work. Let's restart this entire thing and see what happens. It's still working. Okay. So now that we know our function is working correctly, so actually, we don't even know if it's working yet. So let's move this up, and then do this ID param. Let's go back. View cart is the name of the ID. Let's go back. Pass in view cart right here. Boom. Okay. Let's move this up. So we're not calling it before it's defined. Let's do this. Add to cart. Boom. Okay, now let's see if this works out. Okay, and that get ID is not defined. Okay. Okay, so the function is running correctly. Find element by ID. Let's look at find element by ID. There's a dot there instead of a comma. Let's try that. That should work. No tag object has no attribute to click. Okay, so basically we just had to add a return so we can return the element that we found, and now our function is working correctly. So now we just to get by ID, then type in the ID name, and we don't have to type this long function here. So let's move this up now that we know it's working. I don't know why it went all the way up there. Let's move this here. That'd be great. All right, cool. Add to cart. Okay. Camel case, which means that it is the first letter is capitalized. I'm going to make another one to find elements by class name, just because. And name this class param. Class param. We don't need these print statements anymore. We're not debugging. Boom. Two-liner function simplifies our entire life. Cart checkout button. Separated by dashes. Okay, I got an error. The class name is not defined. We do not run this function. So that function is not defined. Nothing. Let's try again. Okay, scroll down. Might have got the class name wrong. Stick to the class name. Let's go back up here and paste it. That's the correct class name. Let's see here. Okay, so we just had to add an implicit wait for the checkout buttons that can become available. So that's pretty much the fix to that. Okay, let's go ahead and recalibrate this. Okay, so alright, so we simplified the functions. Get by class name, get by ID. So now all we have to do is do this, and we should be able to find the items, find the attributes. I'm just gonna add this implicit wait to this one too, just in case, so we don't run into any issues. Okay, I'm just gonna keep adding that to everything. Get that quotation mark too. Boom. Let's do that for all these. So we should have all of these, this entire form selected now. Let's run it. No errors. Okay. Now let's go back to the documentation, filling out forms. Okay. Select. Let's see. Objects. Alright, so now I got how to type into these forms from this documentation. Okay, so do that. We type it. We start typing into the form that we found up here, and then we send keys, these keys to it. So if you wanted to, we could make another function that will automatically do this, so we don't have to keep repeating ourselves. That's one of the rules of programming. Dry. Do not repeat yourself. I'm just going to use best practices here instead of just rushing through this to show you how to do it. So let's write a function called type and fill. It's going to take in 2 parameters. Just going to do type, ID, Okay, we're gonna do maybe we just, okay, we need another parameter for the message. Okay, form ID as the first parameter, form ID, let's do form ID dot send keys, and we're going to leave this as message. Okay, message. Delete that so we can check and see if it's working. Define type and fill. Okay, and the first one is going to be, and my girlfriend loves me. Okay, now let's just run this to see what happens. Type and fill is not defined. We need to run this first. And we're working. So now we're not repeating ourselves by typing the same thing over and over again. We could add these to an object as well, so we're not writing a bunch of functions. But I'll cover that stuff in another video if you want. So the first form is filled. Now let's do the next one. Type and fill. Let's move this back. Type and fill. Boom. Okay. Checkout form, first name form. Boom. First name form. Let's do tech. All this code is going to run over and over again, but it runs very quickly. It doesn't require much use of RAM. So we're just going to run this entire block again. Boom. Tech with tie. They put another, my girlfriend is there. So in other thoughts, we're just going to create a new one. So we're not typing the same thing over and over. I think we can also clear the form. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Okay, element.clear, so we can actually clear it first. Let's do that. Form ID.clear. So let's rerun that and rerun that, so everything gets retyped like it was new. So let's just continue with that. Change this to last. It's per my naming scheme. I know that's correct. With tie. Run that again. So now that we know that we're running correctly, we could just do all of these, but I like to do it incrementally just in case we run into any errors. Street address form. $1,000 Tech Way. Boom. Address form. Address apartment. Apartment 1. Boom. Okay, now city. City form. Let's say LA, Los Angeles. And then we have to select the type of state from there. So I'm going to do that next. Let's just fill in all of these first. So let's do state form. skip that. Let's do zip code form. Say 1,000. Phone number. Phone code form. Oh, it says code. Should probably change that to number. So now that we're not repeating ourselves and we're writing the same code over and over, if we make an error like that, we only have to change 2 lines of code instead of 10. Okay. Let's run that. Boom, same keys. Number is not defined. Form. Gotta rerun this. Alright, we got our phone number. What's that Soldier Boy's Alright, let's use that number. Okay, so there we go. There we go. And we're gonna add that number there instead. And we can click these numbers if you want to. So I'll be back after I figure out how to select the state here. Okay, so boom, I finally got it figured out. We have to select the form and then select by value. So let's look at this. These are the values, the acronyms here, and not the actual state. So we got the entire form filled out now. You can check these if you want by getting the ID and doing the same thing we did here, and clicking instead of typing. But now we're gonna click this checkout continue shopping button. ID, let's find the ID of it. Might not have an ID. Does not have an ID. The button does have an ID though. I should have continue button. Okay, boom. ID. Boom. So now we have that. Okay. Continue. Click. Let's run this and see what happens. Continue button is not defined. Alright, so we're up to our continue button. It's asking me if our address is correct. Let's go ahead and go to proceed. Okay. Button. ID, button proceed address. Let's do the same thing up here. spelled that incorrectly. That's going to cause problems. Let's move this to a new block. Let's run that again. And then this. Proceed address. Address portion of it. Okay. Okay, let's use a real zip code. 33220. Let's do 32303. Proceed. Yeah, we need a address zip code for Colorado 80020. Let's do that one. Okay. In all honesty, we should probably check and see if this form has that prompt every time if we put in a real address and not a fake one. So let's do 2400 Spring. Let's do a Spring Road, Texas. Let's see what this one is. Okay, so it's either a proceed or accept address. So we're gonna have to write an if statement. Let me think about how we're gonna do this. So I think what we're going to do is put in a try except method into these functions to check for errors and stuff like this from handling. So basically, if this isn't there, the application is going to crash. So let's do a try except. Let's just get it from down here. So I'm trying to put a string literal, which is a variable inside of a string here. Not sure if I did that correctly. Let me Google it. this is not helping. Literal string interpolation. Okay, so we just need to add an F. That's weird, but okay, Python. Okay. Boom. Now, we're going to try to find the element, and if you can't find it, we're going to print an exception. So, let's try everything all over again. See what happens. Okay. Email. Some indentation errors, looks like. Let's try again. Okay. So we might need to actually just move these out to the scope after this is clicked, because that only shows after it's clicked anyway. So let's move this down. It's working correctly anyway. So it's letting us know what it couldn't find instead of breaking the entire application. Let's move this down here. Okay, so now let's run that. See what happens. Okay. So it found the proceed address and not the other one. Okay, so we need to figure out a way to, if that's not there, then do the other one. I think we're gonna do an if statement. One exception. Let's just do click. Let's run this again. Let's actually edit this address. Accept changes. Let's see if it accepted changes. Okay, it accepted it, but we didn't find the preceded one. Okay, so boom. Now we have a foolproof method of accepting the address, and we're not breaking the application if we can't find the element. We should add this to this one down here too. Move this right here. Boom. Okay. So now we're at the continue payment screen. All our information looks good. Standard shipping. Let's continue the payment. ID, continue button. Do we already have a continue button? Continue the payment. Let's see what happens if we reuse this continue button. It's not attached to the page document. So we're going to need to find it again and then click it. Let's see if that works. Yep, that works. Continue. And we're almost there, guys. All we have to do is implement our card number using the same methods we used here. Same as shipping address to make things easier. So yeah, I'll be back. Or actually, I'll just fast forward through me doing this, or you can just watch me do it. So we don't have a gift card or anything like that. Let's right click that. ID number. CC number. And I wouldn't put your real card information in here. I would put everything in an environment variable, so it's stored on your computer and not on GitHub or any public platform that people can see it. Okay, the ID is number. Number, name on card, name. Expiry. ID. Verification value. Alright, now that we have all those, let's add another block. Let's see if we get all of them. Yep, we got all of them. No errors. So let's do a type and fill. Oh, these are all named CC number. Let's change that. Name. Expiry, verification value, type and fill. Let's do CC number, and then we're gonna add random. Should use some random credit card numbers. So this is the number we're going to use. See if this works. It's the error. Clear. Let's try this again. Nothing, huh? Couldn't find number. Couldn't find name. Couldn't find expiry. So it's not able to find any of these elements for some reason. and inspect it. So had to jump through a bunch of hoops to get this figured out. So basically, these elements are in an iframe, so we have to switch to them to be able to type inside of them. So if we press Control F, type in iframe with the bracket here on the left, I'll show you the first one, which is the Google crawler. And then the next one is where we get to our credit card information. That's our first one. The second one is here, which is our name and expiration date. And the CV. So we have to switch to those by means of, let me see here, I have to actually delete that. So let me see. After that, we get to continue. This part doesn't need to be run. I made a function called find and fill, which basically sets this to default, so we can find an iframe. Then we try to find the iframe by the number of it is in the array of iframes. We did this because the ID keeps changing. The ID changes for each time the web page loads. I'm sorry, my brain is a little fried. So actually changes, but this stays the same. So card fields, card number, but this changes. So I tried using that and I kept getting errors and figured out that it changed actually. So since there's a set number of iframes on the web page currently, you can just use this as a temporary fix to get to the iframe. But in another video, or if you guys want to see, we can actually do a CSS selector by the first by what it begins with. So if it begins with card fields number, then we'll be able to find it instead of using the entire ID or using the number of array it is. So after I figured out how to actually type into the field, I had to actually create a new function called, let me see here, I named it slow, the slow version of typing, because it was not filling the credit card. Sorry guys, it was not filling the credit card number in. To add in a 2-second sleep timer between each number press. We can lower that down to 1 and it should still work. So we can mimic a more human-like experience, and that seemed to work. So yeah, let's go ahead and test this out. I think that's all that I had to go over as far as errors and stuff like that. Alright, so let's run this from the beginning. Okay. Time for the moment of truth. See if that works. Yeah, we're working. Boom. There's our card number being input. Let's wait for that to finish. It's not the entire card number, obviously, but it's working. This is so we don't get flagged by any anti-bot software as well. So boom. So last but not least, let's go ahead and click same as shipping address, or you can just do the process that we did with these and fill it out with the same information. The same information here. We should probably save this information to variables if we're going to reuse them, like my email, name, address. Save this address to C class. Click. It's not giving me an ID. Radio. C XPath selector. We have to figure out how we're going to select that. I'll be right back. Okay, so we found the ID. Copy that. Let's look at our functions. Let's do get by ID. Okay, let's actually move this to a new one so we don't have to wait for all that stuff to type. Let's see if this works. It does work. Try it again. I think I already had that. Let's see here. Add to cart. That should work. Might be another issue with iframes. Let's search up iframe again. Let's try switching to default content. Okay, that was the fix. We had to switch back to the default of iframe, and now we're working. Boom. I'm gonna click pay now. We could have a confirmation in our application if we wanted to confirm that we wanted to pay. We can send ourselves which I wouldn't see why you would do that if it was in low stock. We send ourselves a text message. Once it's bought, or if we have any issues with Twilio. Yeah, there's more stuff we can do. Let me just click pay now. Boom. And now we have our item, if we were to have our real information in there.
Go get that bag. It's groceries outside. Go get that bag. Is that door?